Okay, ready to dive into EdTech, furniture, and equipment. We've got this really cool sneak peek at an upcoming podcast for educators.
Yeah, and it's not just about the gadgets, they're trying to give some real practical guidance to help educators and administrators make those tough decisions, the ones that actually make a difference in the classroom.
I see that. It's all about practical solutions, not just the hype. And speaking of solutions, they've got a pretty impressive team to guide us. We've got Mark Ting. He's got over 20 years of experience, working with schools to implement technology, things like interactive whiteboards, software, teacher training, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, wow, yeah. And they've got Allison Lucidity, who, get this, specializes in educational furniture and equipment.
Really?
Yeah, it sounds kind of niche, I guess, but when you think about it, the physical space plays a huge role in learning, right? How students interact and all that. And Allison, she's got that design background, so she helps schools create spaces that, encourage creativity and collaboration.
So, they brought together the digital and the physical. And what can we actually expect from this podcast? They're promising in-depth product reviews, not just surface level stuff. For example, they're looking at this new VR headset. They're exploring its potential for, immersive learning, but they're also acknowledging the cost, the limitations, all that.
That's great. It's so important to get that balanced perspective, right? Because it's so easy to get swept up in the hype. It seems like they're really committed to giving a realistic assessment, the good and the bad. They're also they're highlighting what they call proven solutions.
Okay, so what are those?
Basically, it's those strategies or tools that research has shown to actually improve student outcomes over time, consistently.
Oh, I see. So it's not just the newest, shiniest thing. It's about understanding what actually works. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in their promise to get insights from industry leaders, actual teachers,
Mm.
not just salespeople,
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like you're just drowning in marketing jargon when you're trying to make these decisions about technology?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All the time. It's really hard to figure out what's genuinely valuable. So hearing from people who've actually used these tools in real classrooms, that's really valuable.
Definitely. And they're also promising honest conversations about those challenges that schools face,
Yeah.
like tight budgets. It's a big one. How can schools, especially those with limited resources, integrate technology, design spaces that work?
Yeah, that's a big question. And it's refreshing to see a podcast that's actually addressing it, you know? It shows that they're not just focused on the ideal scenario, but real world constraints. This is where I think Mark and Allison together, their expertise, it could be really powerful. Imagine Mark, he finds some cost-effective tech solutions, right? And then Allison takes those and integrates them into a classroom design that's both functional and engaging.
Yeah, I see that. That kind of synergy would be amazing. And they're also going to talk about new research, policy changes, the things that actually impact how we teach. I'm curious how they'll break down all that, make it into something that teachers can actually use. Imagine taking a dense research paper about, I don't know, tablets in elementary school,
Yeah.
and then turning that into key takeaways for teachers, for lesson planning and stuff.
That's the real value here. Bridging research and practice, right? It's one thing to know the theory, but it's another to apply it. In your own classroom, it's one thing to apply it, but then there's all those real world challenges, right?
Yeah.
That get in the way. One thing they mentioned was the ethical considerations around ed tech.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. I mean, it's easy to get excited about new technology, but we have to think about, the implications,
Right, exactly.
especially with student data and privacy.
Exactly. And it seems like they're approaching it, with that nuance. It's not about being anti-technology. It's about being thoughtful,
Right.
responsible when we're integrating it into education.
Uh-huh. I'm also curious to hear what they say about the impact of technology on actual learning outcomes.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't just assume that more technology automatically means better learning.
No, absolutely not. It's about how you use it, right?
Yeah.
How it's integrated. Does it actually align with your learning goals?
Yeah, that's where those insights from, experienced teachers come in.
Yeah.
They've been there, they've tried different things, they know what works, what doesn't.
Exactly. And I think that's what's exciting about this podcast. It's not just, theoretical stuff. It's grounded in the reality of the classroom.
Yeah.
They're bringing in researchers, tech developers, and, most importantly, the teachers.
The people who are actually using it.
Exactly. The ones who are using this every day.
It's like they're bridging that gap,
Yeah.
between ed tech and the actual classroom.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And hopefully that leads to like better decisions, right?
Yeah.
More effective implementation.
And better learning for students.
Exactly. Yeah. And what really excites me is that they're not just looking at the cutting edge brand new technologies, but also, those simple solutions.
The ones that people sometimes overlook.
Exactly.
You mean like rearranging the furniture in the classroom so that it works for group work? Or using like those free online tools to make lessons more interactive?
Precisely. Yeah. Sometimes the most effective solutions are like right there in front of us.
You just don't see them.
We just don't see them. Yeah. We need someone to like point them out, explain how to actually use them.
Yeah. Sounds like that's what this podcast is going to do.
Yeah, it really does. And I'm also I'm intrigued by, their promise to look at educational furniture and equipment.
Right. It's not something we always think about.
Yeah, we don't, but it's so important.
But like we've been saying, the physical space, it really does have a big impact on student engagement.
Huge impact. Think about, those uncomfortable chairs, bad lighting, cluttered spaces.
Oh, yeah.
It's distracting, right? It makes it harder to learn.
Definitely.
But then a well-designed classroom with, flexible furniture, it can encourage collaboration, creativity, give students that sense of ownership over their learning.
Yeah, so it's not just about how it looks.
No.
It's about how it functions.
Yeah.
Does it actually support different learning styles, different activities?
Exactly. And I think that's where, Allison's expertise will be really valuable.
Yeah.
She can give us insights into choosing the right furniture and equipment.
Yeah.
Not just, is it durable? Does it look nice? But also, is it ergonomic? Can it adapt to different needs?
It's like she's designing the learning environment.
Yes, exactly.
Making sure that every piece, helps make the learning experience better.
Yeah.
Speaking of design, I'm curious to hear what they think about those, what are they called, active learning classrooms?
Oh, yeah, that's a big trend right now.
It is.
It's about, moving away from those traditional rows of desks, creating spaces where students can move around, interact more, do more hands-on stuff.
So like classrooms with different seating arrangements,
Yeah.
writable surfaces on the walls, maybe even spaces for group projects and presentations.
Exactly. And the idea is, if you create that more dynamic, engaging physical space, it can really support the needs of learners today.
I also want to hear what they say about incorporating technology into those active learning spaces.
Yeah, that's a really interesting intersection, right? How can you use those interactive whiteboards or tablets to, help with group work? Or even virtual reality to create those immersive experiences that go beyond the classroom.
Yeah, it seems like a really valuable resource.
Yeah.
Especially for educators who want to create those, really engaging spaces. And I like that they're going back to those proven solutions, the ones we were talking about.
Yeah, for sure. It's easy to, get caught up in all the new stuff, but sometimes those tried and true methods, they still work best.
Exactly.
And it's not about, just sticking with the old ways. It's about understanding why some things have worked for so long, and how we can adapt them for today's classrooms. They might talk about project-based learning, right? That's been around forever, but it's still really relevant because it teaches those critical thinking skills, collaboration, problem solving, all those essential skills.
Yeah, exactly. And I bet they'll, dig into the research behind it.
Right.
So we can understand why it works.
With the pedagogy behind it, yeah.
So we can evaluate not just the new stuff, but also the older approaches.
Yeah, see what's best for the students. And I think another thing that's great is their focus on accessibility, making sure things are inclusive for everyone.
That's so important.
Right. We need learning environments that, work for all learners.
Yeah.
And technology can really help with that.
Definitely. Yeah, they might talk about assistive technologies for students with disabilities, or even just using digital tools to personalize learning a little bit.
Yeah, to meet those individual needs, exactly. And I think it's great that they're also, they're not afraid to talk about the challenges, the potential downsides of ed tech, the digital divide, for example, making sure that, all students have access.
Technology and resources, yeah.
Yeah, to the technology and the resources, exactly.
So it's about being mindful.
Right. Mindful, intentional.
Not just throwing technology at a problem and hoping it goes away.
No, not at all.
We have to think about the ethics, the impact it's going to have on learning.
Yeah.
And making sure things are fair for everyone.
Yeah, and it sounds like, this podcast is really going to give us what we need to do all that.
The tools, the knowledge.
The knowledge, the insights. Yeah, it's more than just information, It's A roadmap
for this whole world of ed tech.
for ed tech, furniture, equipment, all of it.
It's like having a conversation,
Yeah.
with a bunch of experienced educators who are like really passionate about this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Who want to help us create those amazing learning experiences for students.
So as you're, exploring all this stuff, all this ed tech, furniture, equipment, remember, it's not just about the stuff itself.
So,
It's about how you use it.
exactly how do we use this to create those engaging, inclusive spaces, those effective learning environments?
Yeah. And don't be afraid to, you know, to try new things.
Experiment, make mistakes.
Yeah, things are always changing.
Exactly. Education is always evolving.
There's always something new to learn.
Right. And the goal isn't to just keep up with the latest trends. It's
Yeah.
about using those trends to, to help our students.
Help them be their best.
Exactly. Reach their full potential.
And I think that's about it for our deep dive.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're feeling a little more informed about this exciting new podcast
Yeah, about all the possibilities.
and how it can maybe change education.
But before we go, we want to leave you with one last thought
Okay.
as you're, thinking about all of this. What are you most curious about?
Yeah. What questions do you have?
What do you want to learn more about?
Hold on to that, that curiosity
Yeah.
and let it guide you.
Happy listening, everyone.